Chosen one, what if I told you the very person who threw thorns in your path is now crawling on them, bleeding from the games they once laughed about? See, the universe doesn't forget. It recalibrates. There's a cosmic balance, a silent ledger where every action writes itself into consequence. And while they mocked your silence, fate was already plotting the reversal. Their sabotage, it was the scaffolding of your rise. The more they tried to bury you, the deeper your roots gripped into destiny. Some people think they're architects of downfall, but end up prisoners of their own envy. Critics who tried to dim your light are now blinded by it. They studied you, underestimated you, and now they're choking on the dust from the path you carved. Karma isn't always loud, it's strategic. It doesn't knock, it waits. And when it shows up, it reminds them, the energy they sent out circled back sharper. You were never ordinary. You're the glitch in their matrix, the disruption they can't silence. Your presence haunts them because it exposes what they'll never become. And every attempt they made to distract you became a mirror reflecting their own failure. That's the power of being chosen. It doesn't just elevate you. It disturbs everything fake that tried to contain you. If you're already feeling this truth in your bones, this is your moment. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and stay locked in. Because what's coming next isn't just a message, it's a reckoning. Before we go deeper into this revelation, pause and ask yourself, what if the very secret you've been guarding is the one thing that's been guarding you? What if your silence hasn't been weakness, but the invisible armor keeping your destiny intact? This isn't just another message, it's your turning point, the kind of truth that locks in your power and silences every distraction around you. So before we unlock what's next, do this. Like this video to amplify the energy surrounding your journey. Subscribe so more chosen ones can find their shield, and drop the number 777 in the comments to declare your alignment with protection, precision, and purpose. You're here because you were meant to hear what's coming. Stay close, because the secret is only just beginning to reveal its full power. Let's get started. Number 1. Stop mistaking delay for rejection. You're being hidden to protect the power. Every chosen one carries coded instructions, assignments that vibrate at a frequency most people can't even detect, let alone understand. These aren't ordinary thoughts or random dreams. They are encrypted blueprints, layered with energy, timing, and precision. What's been placed inside of you didn't come from outside noise. It was calibrated in silence, forged in sacred stillness, and it speaks in signals only the aligned can hear. That's why what you carry must be protected at all costs. Not every ear is wired for the truth you hold. Not every space is safe for revelation. When you speak too soon, when you explain what isn't ready to be revealed, you don't just risk misunderstanding, you risk dilution. You shrink something cosmic into something conversational. And that's dangerous, because people who are disconnected from your source will try to shrink your mission down to something they can control, critique, or copy. And in that moment, your download loses momentum, not because it wasn't real, but because it was exposed too early to an energy that didn't deserve access. Think of it like encrypted technology. If the wrong person tries to open it without the code, it corrupts. The vision stalls. The progress glitches. Your revelation is no different. This is not about hiding in fear. This is about guarding your evolution with precision. Secrecy is not weakness, it's wisdom. Emotional urgency is the enemy of divine timing, and urgency to be seen will always attract the wrong audience. Now, before we go deeper into this next layer, let me take a moment to acknowledge something important. Whether you've supported this space through your quiet presence, your words of encouragement, or simply by showing up with your energy aligned, you matter. You're not just a listener, you're part of this energetic movement. And the fact that you're here now, still tuned in, still resonating, is no accident. It means you're one of the few who can handle what's about to be said. You're not here for entertainment, you're here for confirmation, and everything in you already knows. Your silence hasn't been emptiness, it's been calibration. You're about to see why the secret you've been keeping is the very thing that's been keeping you protected, elevated, and miles ahead of those who tried to decode you. Let's continue. Number 2. Silence is your survival strategy. Speak too soon and you'll pay in spirit. Silence is not just golden, it's your survival strategy. Chosen one, you don't just carry ideas, you carry impact. And impact that's released too early becomes a weapon turned against you. What you're building in silence isn't weakness, it's warfare. Because the moment you speak too soon, you invite energy that hasn't earned the right to witness your becoming. Think about it. How many times have you shared something sacred, something glowing, raw, full of life, only to watch it lose its color once it left your mouth? That's not coincidence, that's spiritual taxation. The universe charges a high price for exposing things out of season, and the cost isn't always immediate, it's energetic. Your clarity dims, your drive softens, your momentum stalls. That's the price of premature exposure. Your silence, on the other hand, is a shield. It's the armor that blocks confusion, envy, and manipulation from seeping into your process. While others broadcast every step for attention, you've been moving in stealth, developing in the shadows. Because real power doesn't prove, it prepares. And what you're preparing is too rare, too raw, too loaded with destiny to be handed over as casual conversation. Let them wonder, let them guess, let them talk. But you keep building in silence. Because what's coming doesn't need explanation, it will speak for itself. Number 3. Pushback means you're close. Don't let pressure make you fold. Chosen one, don't mistake the pressure you're feeling as a sign to back off. It's actually proof that you're too close to something powerful. That tight resistance you keep running into. That's not coincidence, that's confirmation. It's the ripple effect of your energy hitting dimensions it wasn't supposed to reach, at least not in silence. You're disturbing realms, you're shifting patterns, and the system that was built to keep you small is starting to shake. But here's the part nobody talks about. When you're on the verge of a breakthrough, it won't feel like clarity, it'll feel like chaos. The sabotage gets louder, the distractions grow stronger, the doubt creeps in with precision. That's not failure, that's friction caused by your next level trying to make room through a wall that wasn't built for your expansion. Every time your silence gets heavier, the enemy gets more desperate. Why? Because noise they can handle. But a chosen one walking in quiet, focused obedience, that terrifies them. You're not folding, you're forming. You're not breaking, you're building from a realm they can't access. So don't flinch when things push back. Don't explain yourself when energy starts acting strange around you. That pushback is spiritual data. It's proof you've stepped into restricted territory. The kind only the chosen can enter. You're not losing ground. You're being pressured by purpose. Let that pressure turn into power, because what's coming through you can't be stopped. It can only be resisted. And that resistance, that's your greatest sign that you're already touching the threshold of transformation. Hold the line, stay hidden, stay grounded. The pressure isn't your enemy, it's your proof. Number 4. Guard your mouth like a vault. Loose lips invite spiritual warfare. Chosen one, let this hit you deeper than before. Not every silence is weakness. Some silences are strategy, some silences are survival. Your voice holds weight, real weight, and every word you release carries energy. So if your words are gold, why would you toss them in front of people who only value dust? Loose lips don't just spill secrets, they detonate timelines. One careless sentence, one emotional outburst, and suddenly you've opened a spiritual window for attacks you never saw coming. What you say can shift atmospheres, but what you oversay can invite warfare. Not because you're weak, but because what you carry is powerful. Your vision isn't for every room. Your calling isn't for public discussion. There are people who ask questions not to support, but to study, to extract, to drain. So guard your plans, guard your intuition, guard your revelation, because once certain truths are spoken aloud, they become vulnerable to interference, spiritual, emotional, even physical. You're not being paranoid, you're being precise. There's a reason vaults are silent until opened by the right code. Your silence is your code, and only those aligned with your spirit should ever have access. Let this be your shield. What they don't know, they can't ruin. The less they hear, the more protected you stay, and the more protected you are, the more powerful you become. Keep your blueprint encrypted, speak less, move smart, move silent, because chosen one, your silence is not just your wisdom. Number 5. Don't Joseph your destiny. Keep quiet until it's unshakable. Chosen one of the greatest traps isn't failure, it's exposure without foundation. And too many fall for it. They speak too soon, looking for applause before the mission is even built. But let this settle in your spirit. Don't Joseph your destiny. Joseph had a dream that was real, prophetic, sacred, but he revealed it too early to people who only saw competition where there was calling. And what happened? His own blood turned into betrayal, not because his vision was false, but because it was prematurely delivered to unprepared ears. That's how fast something holy can become a target. This is your warning, chosen one. The gift inside you isn't just rare, it's disruptive. And that disruption unsettles those who've built their identities on comfort and control. When you speak too early, you give people the blueprint to a building they were never meant to enter. They'll misunderstand it, twist it, mock it, and in doing so, you'll feel the pressure to shrink what was meant to expand. Timing isn't just important, it's everything. Speak when it's still forming and you weaken the roots. But wait until it's unshakable and your silence becomes thunder. By the time they see it, it's already too strong to stop. You're not being asked to be secretive out of fear. You're being guided to be strategic out of power. Let the vision grow in the soil of sacred silence. When it's time, the fruit will speak for itself. And not a single critic will be able to deny what you were carrying all along. This silence, it's not punishment, it's preservation, it's your shield. Keep it close. Number 6. Not everyone's a midwife. Some are sent to abort your mission. Chosen one, let this settle in your spirit. Not everyone in your life was sent to help you birth what's growing inside you. Some came disguised, smiling, supportive, but spiritually misaligned, sent not to assist but to abort. You're not paranoid, you're perceptive. And the more sacred your assignment, the more surgical your discernment must become. There are people who love to hover around your potential, but not out of care, out of control. They want access to your womb, but not your wisdom. They offer advice that sounds kind, but carries frequencies of sabotage. They drop subtle doubts, cleverly disguised as concern. Are you sure? Maybe wait. That's a big risk. But underneath it all, their energy reveals the truth. They don't want it to live. They don't want you to rise, because your success would dismantle the illusion they've built around their limitations. That's why you must protect your process like sacred ground. Every chosen one carries a spiritual pregnancy, an idea, a mission, a revelation. And just like a child in the womb, it must be nurtured, guarded, and kept in silence until the time is right. Not every hand is qualified to hold what you're carrying, and certainly not every voice deserves a vote on how you deliver it. You are not being cold, you're being covered, you're not distant, you're discerning, and your silence is not rejection, it's protection, because the most dangerous enemy is not the one who attacks from the outside. It's the one who gets close enough to whisper doubt during labor. Chosen one, keep the secret. Not everyone is a midwife. Some are on assignment to interrupt your becoming. But as long as you stay sealed in discernment, nothing they do can stop what's destined to be born. Number 7. Move like the giants did. Real power doesn't announce itself early. Chosen one, the loudest in the room, is rarely the strongest. The ones who changed history didn't need applause to keep going. They needed alignment. Look around. Every giant who carried weight beyond the physical, whether it was through words, action, or presence, knew the value of secrecy. They weren't hiding out of fear. They were constructing futures behind the veil. The most dangerous moves are the ones no one sees coming. While the world demanded updates, they stayed out of sight, fine-tuning the vision, sharpening their silence like a sword. Because premature exposure kills progress. It invites noise before the masterpiece is even finished. Think about it. You've never seen lightning ask for attention. It strikes, and the world reacts. So should your rise. You are being called to move with that same energy. Not in a rush, not in ego, but in calibrated precision. When your silence is rooted in purpose, your arrival becomes unavoidable. That's how the chosen move. That's how legacy is built. Quietly, intentionally, and without the need for validation. Keep that power close. Let them wonder what you're up to. Because when it hits, it'll be too big to ignore. Number 8. Keep the vision in the womb. Premature exposure destroys divine seeds. That's why the universe demands your silence right now. You're in a spiritual gestation period. And just like a child in the womb, your vision must grow in darkness before it can stand in the light. You don't owe anyone updates. You don't have to broadcast every download. You are not behind. You are in divine alignment. But here's the trap. Your excitement makes you want to share, to prove, to explain. And in that emotional urgency, you risk placing what's holy into the hands of the unprepared. Premature exposure doesn't just delay destiny, it can dismantle it. Your vision is not a performance, it's not for validation, it's a prophecy under construction. And just because people are curious doesn't mean they're qualified. The womb of silence is where power is protected. It's where the universe adds strength to your foundation before the spotlight ever arrives. So listen closely. If it's still growing, it's not for showing. The wrong eyes don't just misunderstand you, they curse what they can't control. So keep it close. Guard it like a sacred fire. Let it evolve in peace. And when the moment comes, the world won't need an explanation. They'll witness the emergence of something unstoppable, something chosen. Number 9. Never plant sacred blueprints in unprepared soil. Chosen one, you don't pour gold into cracked vessels. You don't plant sacred seeds in poisoned ground. And yet, how many times have you handed over blueprints soaked in divine timing to people who only understand deadlines, gossip, or shortcuts? See, the truth is, your revelation was never meant to be community property. It's an encrypted frequency, and if the soil isn't spiritually ready, that seed won't bloom. It will suffocate. When you share too early, you don't just risk judgment, you risk spiritual miscarriage. Some people don't water what you give them. They trample it, not out of malice, but ignorance. They're not evil, they're unprepared, unrooted, and what is sacred to you is irrelevant to them. They don't see the vision because they've never stood in the silence where it was born. Chosen one, it is not your job to make others ready. It is your job to recognize where the soil ends and sabotage begins. Your assignment is sacred, and every word you speak about it is a seed. If the ground isn't rich with discernment, the harvest will never come. That's why you're not being distant, you're being deliberate, you're not being cold, you're being called. This is why silence is your shield, why discretion is your power. Because the seed doesn't need applause to grow. It needs protection, it needs stillness, it needs you to stop explaining what was never meant to be exposed until it's unshakable. You weren't sent to scatter your gifts like confetti. You were sent to move with surgical precision. And from now on, you will. Number 10. Isolation is the incubator. Stop calling it a curse. Chosen one, let's break the illusion they tried to sell you. Isolation was never your punishment. It was your preparation. The world told you that being set apart meant something was wrong with you. But what if being removed was actually divine positioning? What if the silence, the distance, the emptiness was the sacred space where your power was being built in peace? You weren't rejected, you were reserved, and while others scrambled for spotlight, you were tucked away, insulated from noise, from doubt, from premature exposure. Because chosen ones don't grow in crowds, they grow in incubation chambers, in the dark, in the quiet, in the unseen. Just like seeds breaking open underground, just like a baby forming in the womb, you were being shaped in secret. And every moment you thought was wasted, was working. Your isolation wasn't a void, it was a vault. It was a shield protecting your mind from manipulation, your spirit from imitation, and your blueprint from invasion. You weren't being ignored, you were being encrypted, covered by divine firewalls, only meant to lift when the timing is perfect. So stop calling it loneliness. Stop calling it delay. This was the hiding place where legacy gets forged. And now that your roots are deep, your emergence won't be fragile. It'll be unstoppable. You weren't locked out. You were locked in. Guard that truth. Because the ones who once questioned your silence are about to witness what's born from it. Number 11. Your purpose is classified. Protect it from curious eyes. Your purpose is not a trending topic. It's classified. It wasn't meant to be passed around in group chats, thrown into casual conversation, or put on display for curious spectators who only want a front row seat to watch you struggle. Chosen one, what you carry is encrypted for your soul only. It's sacred intel, and not everyone is cleared for access. You see, curiosity isn't always innocent. Sometimes it's masked surveillance. People don't always ask questions because they care. They ask because they want to measure the threat. And you, chosen one, are a threat to every illusion they've built. Your silence unnerves them. Your discipline confuses them, so they dig with soft words and shallow smiles, hoping you'll spill what wasn't meant to be said out loud. But here's the truth. The more you expose, the more they exploit. The more you explain, the more you invite confusion into what was once crystal clear. Some people don't want your truth. They want control over your trajectory. They want the blueprint without doing the spiritual work. So what's the move? You treat your purpose like it's a classified mission. You walk like you're holding the key to something bigger than their perception, because you are. You were not chosen to be popular. You were chosen to be powerful, and power moves best in silence. Let them wonder, let them guess, let them call you distant, mysterious, or cold, because by the time they realize what you've built behind the scenes, it'll be too late to interfere. Protect your purpose like a vault. Not everyone looking at you is rooting for you, and not every eye deserves a glimpse of the prophecy unfolding in your life. Stay sealed, stay strategic, stay sacred. Number 12. Silence isn't weakness, it's the weapon that noise can't imitate. Silence isn't weakness, it's the weapon the loud ones fear the most. In a world addicted to attention, your restraint is revolutionary. You don't need to broadcast your growth for it to be real. You don't need to defend your vision to validate its power. Silence doesn't mean surrender, it means strategy. Because while the noise chases validation, silence builds legacy. Chosen one, understand this. The loudest person in the room is usually the most unsure, but your silence, it unnerves them. It speaks volumes in frequencies they can't decode. While they talk, you're listening. While they flaunt, you're building. While they chase clout, you're cultivating alignment. And that's why they're uncomfortable. Because silence can't be imitated. It's not just the absence of words, it's the presence of mastery. You see, when you move in silence, nothing can be sabotaged. Your plans remain protected. Your power grows undisturbed. Noise exposes, silence secures. Every time you hold back from explaining yourself to people who are not spiritually aligned, you reclaim your energy. You lock your power back in. And that terrifies those who rely on your reactions to feel relevant. The truth is, when a chosen one goes quiet, something divine is shifting. Something big is being positioned, and the ones who tried to break you with noise start to break under the weight of your stillness. So hold your silence like a sword, wield it with intention. Let your absence echo louder than their opinions. Because when the dust settles, the ones who stayed silent will be the ones standing tallest. And chosen one, when it's finally time to speak, your voice won't just be heard, it will be felt. And as we prepare to close this chapter, let this truth settle deep. Silence has never diminished your power, it's been refining it. Every moment you chose discipline over noise, you built a shield the enemy couldn't penetrate. You are not behind. You are becoming untouchable. So if this message resonated with your spirit, take a moment now, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and drop 777 in the comments to confirm your alignment with sacred strategy. Stay locked in, chosen one. Because your silence isn't just protecting you, it's preparing the world for the weight of your voice.